Hey guys, it's Mrs. MacPhail and Mr. Nutty here, and today we're going to be working on the challenge version of the fraction, decimal, and percent charts. Alright, it's like the Olympics. Kick it up a notch. So, let's go ahead and get started. I already drawn the tables for us, and so we're just going to jump right into our first percent. You might want to have a calculator handy for this, it's always helpful. You don't necessarily need a calculator for this. So let's get started. First, what I'm going to do is 4%. Let's say you end up with something like that. We know, we've been taught that without a calculator, what you do is you imagine that decimal is right after the whole number, okay? We don't give it to you, but it's implied that it's there. And we're going to move it to the left 2 spaces. Okay, we know that there's a 0 that goes here, and the decimal goes out in front. So the decimal turns out to be 0.04. We can check our work by going the other way. Let's move our decimal 2 spots to the right. We put our percent sign there, so it does make sense that our percent is 4%, and our decimal would be 4 hundredths. Now, how do you write the decimal 4 hundredths? Think about how it sounds, 4 hundredths. 4 hundredths. And checking your work, if you were to write the fraction as a decimal, 0.04 would be your answer. All right, let's try another one. Remember, when we go from percent to decimal, we're moving the decimal 2 spaces backwards. Decimal to percent, we move it 2 spaces forward. Your next one it is possible that you have percents with decimals in them. They're not necessarily going to be a whole number the entire time. But this, if you were to see something like it, just works like any other percent to decimal to fraction. I recommend that you always put it in decimal and then fraction first if you're starting with a percent. Let's move that decimal 2 spaces to the left. So decimal would go there. You'd have an imaginary 0 there. Now be careful when you write this. You're going to put your decimal first. There's my decimal. I have 1, 2 zeros, and then the number 3. Be very careful where you write that decimal. And let's check our work. If we were to go the other way, bum, 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 we would indeed have it written 0.3 because the decimal would go right there between the second 0 and the 3. Okay? Now, think about how this would sound as a fraction. We would say 3 thousandths. So we're going to write this 3 thousandths. Okay? Let's try one more. What if I give you 85.29%? Same deal, right? We can have decimals in percents, but we're going to change this to a total decimal. So let's move our decimal how many spaces to the left? 2, because we're working backwards from what we've originally learned. So the decimal is going to go in front of the 8 this time. So it's going to be 8529. Okay, check our work. If we were to go the other way, bum, 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 85.29, that's where it was before. So we are in business. How would you write that as a fraction without using a calculator? Well, you'd have to say the decimal. That's the easiest way to do it. 8,529 ten thousandths. So we're working with a denominator of 10 thousandths here. All right, that's all for now. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.